Outer Orange. Привет все.
Ooh, you are dusty playmat.
Hello, I'm here to talk about the Prism support. A lot of people are really excited about this. I was kind of not gonna lie, because other people were excited. I kind of got excited too, even though I wasn't really around during that time. Let's go ahead and look at them. Let's go check it out. All right, so here we have the beginning of the support being revealed. I will say, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it yet. I like it, and I think it has a lot of potential, so we'll kind of have to go through. I really like all the bouncing. It kind of gives that Bang Dream vibe, Hello Happy World vibe. It feels kind of similar to that, but without the force markers, basically. So we'll have to see. I think it's in the middle somewhere, but let's kind of talk about it. I only briefly read it this morning, so let's actually read it together. So first we have just the regular starter. Again, people are mad because they didn't put the other starter, like the Prism starter or something like that. So, but basically just a normal starter. Anyway, when this unit is wrote upon by the Diva of Greeting Gloom, Rosalita. Okay, the top 7 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 Prism card from among them, reveal it, and add to your hand to shuffle your deck. If you don't reveal a card, you may call this card a rear guard, and so charge 1. This deck does soap us quite a bit. What's really nice is that it doesn't indicate which Prism is specific, it's just any Prism. So in the future, when we get more Prisms, the support will be even nicer. I think the starting support is kind of like a little kind of introduction to future Prism cards. I think as we get more Prism cards, this deck will get more and more a lot better. Also, this one's a little bit more revolved around Labrador, but once we start getting other ones like Verd and I don't know, all the other Garnet, I don't know, all the other ones, I think this deck will just progressively get stronger because some of them are generic. We do have the grade 2. It says when this unit is brought upon with a unit by Labrador in its card name. By the way, it says Labrador does not indicate which one in particular. So if there's a future ones that just have the name in them. Also, we'll work with this ride line, which is also really nice. It says choose up to 1 unit card in your hand with Prism's card name and call it a rearguard circle. If you call it, you draw 1, which is also really nice, so you're not losing out on any advantage there. Actual Labrador herself, we got right here. This is Prism Promise Labrador. It's a retrain. It says one Vanguard circle once per turn. You can soul blast 1, choose one rear guards, return to hand. This unit gets plus 5k power. It does say any rear guard, by the way. So it says choose a rear guard. So if you are playing cards that like call from top card or whatever, or top deck, and they're not retired, you can also just return those. It also makes on-place abilities just way stronger. As we all know, on-place abilities are pretty good, especially when you can bounce them and do them again. Bermuda Triangle is a big fan of this, and Lyrical has a touch of this, but not as aggressively. We have Kyrie, but Kyrie's engine isn't like as impactful as like maybe something like this might be, but let's just see as we get more cards. They are being very careful with the cards they're printing that have bomb place abilities just to avoid anything but breaking like crazy. So the first effect is good. The fact that you can reuse skills at any given point is really awesome. So if we get a really good card in the future, a good example is even like cards like Melty. You can use Melty's effects, you know, Counter Blast, call card, draw a card, bounce it back, do it again, Counter Blast, draw a card, call a card. Like stuff like that just makes this good. Or you can do like Reese's on place ability, Reese's on place. You have something 10k, including Vanguard. Bounce her back, call her again. You know what I mean? So this is like it's a beginning of some really good stuff. We don't have too many cards that really bounce or draw too much, but in the future we might, and this will just get better and better. So her second ability says auto Vanguard circle this unit attacks. So you can counter blast 1, choose up to 2 unit cards with Prism in the card name from your hand, call them to open rearguard circles. You call it, draw 1 card. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater, until the turn all your front unit gets plus 5k power. And this unit gets a critical +1. Now you notice it's when she attacks, so you actually don't get the 5k until she attacks. So if you go rear guard disappears, swing with her, and then call 2, then you get the 5k. So, but the nice part is that she gets a crit, which I think is pretty impactful. The crit does matter because you can really stack her and make her just really big. So she can be like with the Reese's, you can stack her plus the 5k and the Persona on top of that. She's gonna get really big. I don't think this card will stay forever. I think in the future we'll just get even better cards, or we might get like Limit Break type of cards. Where maybe after she attacks we'll be going into other ones, or maybe other ones will attack and we'll go back into her, because her ability says when she attacks, which is kind of similar to how it used to be. So when she attacks, maybe there'll be one, we'll go to one Vanguard and then go into her. A lot of what I liked about Zero, like I love Prism and Zero because it's the only Prism I really saw outside of V Prism, and V Prism is very different from OG Prism. But what I really liked about it is just jumping between all the different Vanguards, like going from strides to different Vanguards and just kind of going through all that. What made it interesting is that it caused you to have to constantly, like, you can bounce your whole board, recall your board, and you have to really set up specifically, and it was really cool and a really fun concept. So yeah, so that's really cool. I like this. I like the way it's going. I think the future of this will be even better. We'll see. I don't know how different Vanguard's going to be next year, but right now I can see a future where this deck gets really, really strong. I think right now it's right in the middle. I think this is one of those decks where you kind of buy it, put it to the side, and then you can play it and have fun with it, but just keep in mind that future support will make it stronger type of thing. We'll have to see. Next we have the Lady, which is the one half of the there's like 3 of them. They're all together. This is the right side of her. So this one says when the unit is placed from hand to rear guard circle or put from hand to guard circle, if you have a Vanguard with Labrador's card name, then he gets plus 5k power, plus 5k shield. And this is when this unit is returned to hand from Vanguard Circle. If you have a Vanguard with Labrador in this card, you may soul charge 1. In addition, if you did not if you not counter charge this turn, you can counter charge 1. So basically, you can get your QCB back, which is also really big. The counter charging is pretty massive. A lot of Prism cards tend to counter boss a lot because you're bouncing cards to hand. So this is a nice way to kind of get all those resources back. If your opponent denies you counter blast, guess what? You can just bounce her back and get it all back. You can't really deny this deck, which is really nice. Like especially if you have her in your hand, you can just call her and then use her ability, and then you use the other ability, the Labrador ability, just to bounce, so soul boss bounce her back. And then we have the celic. So she says when it's unit again, she has the same first ability, basically from hand or guard circle. If you have Labrador, 5k power, 5k shield, which is also really massive. Means we have a lot of 10k shields, which is really good. This deck can take more. And then her rearguard ability, auto at the end of the battle, where this unit attacks. If you have Vanguard Labrador, its card name, you can soul blast 1, return this unit to hand, choose one of your rearguards with Prism, its card name, return it to your hand. This is really important. This is what makes the strength of the deck start happening, is like bouncing columns. So basically what you can do here is you can swing with her boosted with the laity, which is the one up here, and then you can bounce both of them back to hand. And that's something that Prism really likes to do. And this is very, very nice. Or you can bounce columns. You can bounce front rows now. So you can bounce, you swing with one, do nothing, swing with the other, bounce her, and then use her ability to bounce the other one. Makes it really nice. It's only Prism cards, of course, you can bounce, but still the fact that for a Soul Blast, you're basically getting her back, and you get another card back, and then you're getting abilities that procs off of them, because when they're returned to hand, their skills proc. So this is where the in-depth of Prism starts coming out, like but you have to think of what to bounce, think of what order you want to bounce in, which skills you want to activate based off bouncing. These are a little more simple, but as we get more cards, it'll get more and more complex. And that's what's the cool thing about it, is knowing which one to proc and kind of how to do about it. It's a really interesting concept on like on-place abilities. It definitely keeps it very interesting. Next we have some side support. I will say these don't have Prism in their card names, so I'm not as big a fan of these as I am with like the other stuff. But hey, you know, they give some I think they're good, like they're good fixers for the deck for now. Like they're just good decks. They're good cards to throw on for now. But just keep in mind, like they're not going to be there for forever. Auto rearguard circle. If you have a unit with Prism's card name, if your unit with the Prism's card name is placed on the rearguard circle of the same column as this unit, that placed unit gets 5k power to end of turn. So basically, you can call her or the grade 1, and then that gets power, which is really nice because you want that power since you don't have the 5k until the Vanguard attacks. And then honestly, I'd probably just read Reese's instead. I'm gonna be real. And this is when this unit is returned to hand from Vanguard circle during your main phase. So this is again like the Labrador can return her. You can cast 1, draw 1, choose my Vanguard, gets plus 5k power. So you just basically run this card just to bounce her back. I don't think this card's as nice as it sounds. I think this is definitely a card you could probably not play with. I mean, the reason being is you're counter boss, you want to draw a card, which is good, and you get the 5k, but sometimes you want to bounce the other stuff, which is the issue, because Labrador only bounces 1. The other one's kind of bounce during attack, so you gotta be careful. She's probably not gonna be bad, but you gotta be careful with her. You can probably use her early as like an attacker, and then once you go into Labrador, you just get rid of her. A lot of people will try to swing into her because they'll know what she does, but that's like the only thing you gotta be careful of. But luckily enough, if they swing into her, cool, you can just bounce the grade 1 and then get your counter charge back instead. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's good mind games, And then we have this one that says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you can cost canvas 1, top 7 for Prism's card name, reveal it, add to hand, shuffle your deck. If you not reveal, you still charge 2. You can, it's not a mandatory, so that's really nice. That's not mandatory. Auto at the end of battle that this unit attacks. If you have Vanguard Labrador's card name, you return this to hand. So also she's a board removal. She moves herself on board, which is really nice. So you can just swing with her, and then she goes away, and then you basically get your shield back, which is really awesome. And that's it for the support for them. And obviously, like I said, overall, it's really good support. I would say there's nothing like wrong with these cards. It will be nicer once we get more cards with Prism in their card names. I kind of wish they almost introduced like new Prism cards. Like maybe one of these could have been like a Prism card, and then like a new one, a completely new one, like one we haven't seen before, just to kind of add to the flair of like deformat being its own thing. And then also would have been some minor support for like premium. And then we got the MSP reveals, which basically what these are is they're like full arts, but they're in mermaid language, which makes them MSPs. And it says for additional clarification, the casters mentioned that when bringing these cards to official events, you should bring along a version of the card with normal text so your opponent can read them and understand what cards do. If you don't know, Lupina actually has this, and a couple other ones do. Basically, you can't read these cards. They're in mermaid language. So yeah, the opponent you're facing isn't gonna know what the hell the cards does. So what you do in that context is you bring the regular cards. You have to bring regular cards, so that way you can be like, hey, this is what these cards do. I'm really a big fan of the full arts. It's one of my favorite parts about Lyrical. They tend to do full arts more often than like the other nations, which kind of sucks because I really wish this was in the other nations. But I love the full art. These all connect, obviously, so if they're all 3 on the board, then you can see the art, which is really cool. You can even have like a row, like the 2, the 3, and the 1. and I have like boosters in the back, and really cool, really cool to look at. But yeah, this is really hype. This looks really pretty, so very happy about that. If there was a way to learn that language, I would. I actually think it'd be really fun to talk in that language, but I don't even know what it would sound like. Is it like dolphin noises? I don't know. But next we have 3 more PRs that are coming for November. That's what's happening. And then last but not least, also the Pacifica ones also got this retrain as well. And I can't remember who. Someone brought up the fact that these actually connect. So if you actually put these like a little bit more, I think this one needs to be a little bit further down or something like that. But these actually are the same, from the same art, in the same like spectrum of art. You can actually see the yellow here, which connects here. So you can kind of tell that they're in the same you can move them around and they kind of fit together. So more MSP. Again, you have to bring the originals if you're gonna play with the MSPs, and that's about it. My light in the room is like being a little weird because the sun's like hitting a certain way, but overall I really like those cards. I think there's a good future for them. I think they're gonna be really good. I think right now they're just okay. They're not gonna be broken, like out of the door broken, but they're not gonna be like terrible either. I think it's in a really good like sweet spot. Like you could play it and maybe win a couple games, but it won't be like as like impactful. Obviously this is coming from someone who hasn't tested it yet. I usually don't like giving input from before testing, but it is actually a deck that I've played in the past and I kind of understand pretty well. These cards aren't like that different from like what I'm used to, so that's why I have like a little bit more input on them, because I kind of know what the deck's gonna like, how it's gonna play out. But I'm gonna test it and try. I do think the constant bouncing gives you a lot of access to shield and stuff like that. I think if your opponent like completely shreds through your hand though, you get like really boned because you're getting all your effects back to hand, but then if you're forced to guard with everything and then you have a turn with nothing, you're gonna get really stuck. And I think that's like the downside of the deck, and we'll have to see sort of how that plays out. I also think that one card that says counterblast to just draw a card might come in handy a lot more than maybe I brought up. Like, and now that I think about it, I was like, it is a draw, you know, and then you get to counter charge. So we'll have to see sort of how it goes. But yeah, overall, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I really liked what they revealed today. I think it's all really cool stuff, and a lot of people were excited about it. So now you have my input on it. I actually gave some pretty decent analysis on how I feel about the cards. I usually don't do that because usually I don't know how to respond. I'm one of those people where I have to test it first before I say something. But this one, I feel a bit more confident talking about it. So here I am talking about it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Anyway, peace out, guys. Das vidanya. Don't forget to shop indiecards.shop. Set 12 is dropping this week. That's right, this week, not last week, not next week. This week it's dropping. Well, technically sneak peeks, doesn't matter. But the official cards with everything in it is dropping this week, and I have a what to buy coming up. So stay tuned for that. I'm really hyped. Hope you're really hyped. Indiecards.shop. Code orange for all the goodies. Other than that, guys, peace out. Das vidanya. I'll see you guys in the future video. Bye.